This tutorial is to make a connection between Unity and CasparCG. So we can create a front-end client in Unity and have it talk to our CasparCG server. I pre-set up a very simple scene here where we have just a button, which the word connect is going to change to disconnect when it's connected, and the little red dot is going to change to green when it's connected, and it's also going to show an area with play buttons. I've already got a script set up where I've got my connections made to the buttons and the graphics, and this is the script that we have here. So this isn't per se a Unity tutorial. A lot of this stuff should be extremely easy for anyone who uses Unity. This is how to make the connections. When looking through the tutorials, one of the things I kept seeing was people saying, oh, go and get Stardust for Caspar, and it is in Nugget. And I didn't know anything about Nugget. I'd looked at some tutorials, and they said, go in my solutions and right click and manage Nugget packages for solution. So I would go into here under browse. I would look for CasparCG, and all these Stardust plugins popped up, including something further down called, where is it? Stillsoft CasparCG AMCP client. I have not tried that. I've only been, this tutorial is for the Stardust plugins. However, whenever I went to click on one of these and I clicked on the assembly and I said install, it would install it here in references, and it would, those references would disappear every time I tried to reload my project. So that wasn't working, and in my script it kept saying it could not find Stardust. I did not know what I was doing wrong. Looked through some more tutorials, and I finally found someone said, oh, the best way to do this is go to the Nugget website and type in the name of what you're looking for. So here's stardust.casparcg, and download those files. So here are a bunch of files from them. The only ones I really wanted were connection. To have connection, I need this cross-cutting, but there are two cross-cuttings on here. The last one is dated 2020, and this one is dated 2022. So just get the latest one. So I wanted cross-cutting, and I wanted connection. Then I read in the CasparCG forum that it might not build if I did not have this system component model.annotations, so I downloaded that as well. Once I had them downloaded, they come in as an NUPKG file, and all you have to do is rename that to zip, which I've already downloaded the files I needed and converted them to zips. In Unity, you're going to want to create a folder called plugins. And in here, connections, I want to go into my library. I want to go to Net Standard 2.0, and it's the DLL that I want. I don't care about the XML, it's just a DLL. I'll drag that into the plugins folder. I've already done that because it usually takes a while for this laptop to compile. So here I have my connections, my cross-cutting, and that annotations file. If you go into here and you try to include it, so if I said using Stardust, and if nothing comes up, all you do is just close Unity down, reopen it, and it should be ready to go. When in doubt, just shut it down and launch it. Okay, this is all I'm going to need from here. So Stardust, CasparCG, .NET, and connections, and that's going to give me the usability that I want right now. I'm going to need a couple of things to get this working. So the first thing I need is I need Caspar CG settings, and I need, I'm just going to call it set. The next thing I need is a connection. So Caspar connection settings, server, I think it's server connection, and I'm going to call that SC for server connection. And in here, I'm going to set up my connection. So the settings, I want to set it to, oops. And in here, it's going to take in two things, a string and an int. The string is for the IP address. For this, I'm just going to use localhost. And then the int is going to be for my port, and that is 5250. And once I have the settings set up, then I can go ahead and I want to make a reference of my server connection, and I'm just going to say new. Do I have to do that there, or can I do this here? Equals new server connection. Yep, I can do it there. So I don't need to do that here. Okay. Under the click connect button, so that's that button that says connect, and when I click on it, I've just got this just to be able to flip it back and forth, and when it's not connected and I want to connect it, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use my server connection, and I'm going to say connect, and that's going to take in my settings. So it's going to connect with those settings, which are the IP address and port number. If I click on it again, I want to use sc.disconnect. And the disconnect, I'm actually going to reuse this further up in on disable, because if I shut down Unity, Caspar doesn't know that there was a disconnection. I like to put this in just to keep things nice and neat and clean. Caspar doesn't really care about the client that much. Okay, so here I have connecting to the server, to Caspar, and disconnecting from Caspar. And that's going to look like this. So here I have Caspar, I had Caspar running. Let me run Caspar again. I'm doing this tutorial on a Windows 7 laptop, so the latest Caspars won't work. So I'm just running this as 2.0.7. And there's my Caspar. All right, we're ready to do a connection, so I'm going to play. And I'm going to click on connect, and let's check out Caspar right now. And it said accepted connections from that. If I click on this again, it should tell me client was disconnected. Perfect. Everything's working fine. I just need for this stuff to change here. So I could use this connected and have that say, okay, well, as long as I'm connected, set the button to connected, set the light to green, show the play buttons. I could use that, but I'm not going to use that. I've got this thing called connection in here because I don't want these things to be running over and over and over again. So I'm going to be using this just as a sort of a stock kind of force. But I need to add something here. And what I'm going to add is sc.isConnected. So as soon as this says, hey, I'm connected, and if this connection, this is just a bool, which is set to false at the beginning, and it says, oh, if that's false and I am connected, then set this to true, set my color to green, set the text to disconnect, and set the play buttons to be shown. So I set active to true. that means that this is only going to run once, because now while it's connected and the connection is true, it's not going to run this. It's only going to run this if it's false. But if I come down here and I say, oh, connection is true, and I'm going to add in sc dot is connected. So if it is not connected and connection is true, then run all these things, and once again, it'll only do it once. There's probably better ways of doing that. I'm a novice programmer, so I taught myself. All right, this should light up when I connect now. So currently we are disconnected. Connect. Okay, that went green, and it does it very quickly because the connection to Caspar, see, accept the connection is extremely fast. Now it's just the play button. So we have a connection and a disconnection. So I'm not going to click the disconnect button, but if I just stop this and we check Caspar, it did disconnect. That's because we put our disconnect in here on disable. So it will auto disconnect. Okay, so our play button is going to take in a string. I've tried to do this tutorial before, and I was using an input field, and for some reason the input field kept messing things up. So it's going to take a lot more playing, but this at least should work. So that is our play button here. The play button, I have AMB, which is the default file that comes with CasparCG 2.0.7, and this AMB file is the name of the video that I want to run. Okay, so in our script, I'm going to need a few things. Using system.text, because we're sending a message, and the message has to be a byte array. So I'm going to set up a byte array, and I'm just going to call this click name. Oh, I've already got click name there, so let's just call it byte name. Okay. Now what I have to do for this is I have to use encoding dot, and we're using UTF-8 dot get bytes, and in here is where we're going to put our string. And our string is going to be our, actually I'm going to say play 1, and then we're going to grab the clip name. And then I've added this in as just a default. So end of line is going to be the RN. So we can add that here. So plus end of line and semicolon. All right, so we have our byte name, and that's the message that's going to be sent. And now it's as simple as this: just sc, which is our server, no, yes, sc dot, oh, sc dot send, and we are sending byte name. So that's the message that's being sent, and that is extremely simple. But just the server connect and it's send. Wait on the slow laptop, and let's hit play. So here are the things I want to see. I want to see it connect, and I want to see it play. Let's just start with a fresh interface. And reopen Caspar. Okay, nice and new and fresh. Let's connect, and we should see that it has connected, accept connections, and let's hit play. And if I check here, I see something is playing there. If I pull this up, there is our AMB, and there you have it. We now have a connection from Unity to Caspar, and we can also send a message to play the file. You can take this as far as you want. There's so many different plugins that you can use in the Stardust package. But this will get your feet under you so that you can at least have a start on something. If you're a proper Unity programmer, then I'm fairly certain I should be able to export this to Android and control Caspar from my phone, as long as the phone is on the same Wi-Fi network as Caspar. I don't see why I should not just be able to type in an IP address for Caspar and have my phone control Caspar. Currently, this is Windows. You can do Mac, Linux, any other thing, as long as you have an open TCP IP connection. That is it. Thank you for watching.